Guru Meditation.
Hello fellow Amiga users, I'm Bill.
I'm Anthony.
And we are the Guru Meditation. Thanks so much for checking out our YouTube channel about the Commodore Amiga computer and the community that surrounds it. We make how-to videos, we do live streams, and we get out into the world and do show reports from Amiga shows and retro shows around the world.
We do interviews and record presentations from leaders in the Amiga community, and we do short profile documentaries about interesting Amiga users and their projects.
My Amiga vintage computer.
But most of all, we just have fun hanging out with you guys. Anthony and I met back in 1988 at the Westchester Amiga user group, a user group that still meets to this day, and this YouTube channel is an extension of that club.
Bill and I both have massive collections of Amiga hardware, software, and rare peripherals that we dig out and demo for you. Like, literally dig out.
I've seen you digging in Dust's bunker, and I feared for your safety.
Well, it's no more dangerous than the barn.
Whoa, oh, timber! Thanks so much for checking out our channel, guys. Hang out, have a great time, and Amiga forever.
We will see you on episodes of the Guru Meditation.
If you dig our videos, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to be notified when we post a new video or go live, click the bell notification button. Yo, what is up everyone? Thanks so much for tuning in. Oh man, I don't even know where to start. It's just been like a crazy week. First of all, thanks everyone for tuning in. This was like a last minute stream idea. I've been doing my taxes all day, and that's a total bummer. No fun at all. So I was like, you know what? Let's have some fun. What's up, Sanad? Thanks, Formulation. Pregnant Sausage. Thanks for the kind words, dude. I'm very lucky to you know, be able to do something that I love for a living. P. Cotter 72. Greetings from Stuttgart, Germany. Awesome. Nice, Harleen, what's up? So yeah, just to so Sanad, it's the chroma key. It's so weird. The software here, it keys like blue or green, and obviously the Amiga 3.5-inch floppy disk is blue. So there you go. It's transparent. But yeah, it's been a crazy week. It started off Wednesday night. I went to see Deadmau5 in concert. He's amazing. One of my favorite musicians. And then, boom, next day it was Vintage Computer Festival East. I mean, I don't know what I can say about that. It was, I mean, we're going to say a lot about it today. Basically, I just wanted to like organize my photos and videos, and I was like, you know what, let me just do a stream about it, because it's going to take me a while to edit all the footage. I shot about 850 gigabytes of data, so obviously it's going to take a long time to go through it all. But I figured I'd just kind of like sift through it, see what I have, and then just share it with you guys. So, no, Sonat, I can't choose between green and blue. I used the color picker and I picked the green, but for some reason the blue disappears too. I don't know. It's it's not professional streaming software. What can I say? So anyway, that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna kind of take you through my experience at VCF, which was incredible. I'm gonna show you some of my photos, and then I'm gonna start logging my video footage. So we'll take a peek at some of the video footage as well. Yo, Chris JPF, how's it going, my man? Thanks for tuning in. Let me just check something here. It's so funny. All these streams are always okay. We're looking good. Streaming, it's so obviously I just do this for fun, and there's so many variables when you're streaming with sound and video. But today's gonna be a little simpler. Oh, you can hear my cat crying, Harleen. Yeah, he's hungry and he's waiting for my wife to come home. So I think he's howling at the door waiting for her. Oh, Chris Falla in the house, my Commodorian teammate, Chris Falla. You're gonna see a lot of Chris in the stream today. Eagle Beaster, what's up, dude? Thanks for stopping in. Sanad, yes, that is my cat. Well, it's our cat, my wife's cat and my cat. We share the cat. So anyway, enough blah blah blah. Let's get started. Oh, Rob Clark, what is up, dude? my other Commodorian teammate, Mr. Rob Clark. Awesome to have you guys. Thanks so much for stopping in. Rob Clark checking in from Switzerland. Yeah, so the one thing is, like, I hope everything is all right with the time. I don't know how else to organize it. When I announce the stream, I say, okay, it's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is the time that it is in New York City, where I am. And then I do the Greenwich Mean Time, because I figure that's the standard, right? But I think right now, like, there's an hour difference between Greenwich Mean Time and London time. I'm not sure what's going on over there. But I just post a Greenwich Mean Time, so if you want to know what time my stream is, you can just say, okay, so 3 p.m. EDT is what time in wherever you are. Or you can say, was it 9 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time is what time in my time zone, and boom. That'll be easy. Just type into Google, and you're all set. Inverse Phase in the house. Inverse was not on on our Commodore team. He had his own booth. He was amazing. We'll show you some Inverse Phase as well. He's an amazing chiptune artist, and he had an awesome display at Vintage Computer Festival East, showing off this amazing hardware that he's got that emulates the sound of SID chips and Pokey chips. It was awesome. NAFCOM, what's up, dude? Thanks for checking in. Roar in the house. Derision 667, word up, dude. All right, enough blah blah blah. Let's get into this. All right, so today's gonna be a simple stream. I don't have like my Amiga cam set up. My Amigas are still packed up in their boxes. I haven't even had time to unpack. So I'm just gonna do like a screen grab of my PC. Hopefully it works. Like I said before, these streams are always a bit of a wild card. Let's see. It looks like we're up here. A little green screen failure on the left side there. Let's see if I can fix that. Boom. If not, I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm really not. That helps a little bit. Whatever. I'm sure you guys don't mind the little bit of green screen. Oh, sorry, Inverse Phase. There is no emulation in your synth. Yeah, sorry about that. But basically, you can have like the sound of a SID chip or the sound of a Pokey chip, without having the actual machine there. You know what? I'm going to let Inverse Phase talk about it himself, because I've got the footage here. So, Inverse, I'll let you explain it. I haven't watched the footage yet. I hope it's good. But being that you're in the stream, I would love to help promote you. So, because your stuff is awesome. You're an awesome dude. And, your work is really incredible. So, if you want to throw a link up in the chat, please do so, my friend. Anyway, so here we are. These are my pictures. First picture, of course, here we are. We're the Commodorians. This is our team. Oh, so for those of you guys who don't know, Vintage Computer Festival East happens every year. It's a festival at the Info Age Science Center in Wall Township, New Jersey. It's an amazing museum. It's an absolutely gorgeous museum. The Vintage Computer Federation has a permanent exhibit there of all of these incredible old computers. They have mainframes, analog computers, everything up to microcomputers. They have Amigas and modern Amigas, and not as modern Macs, but modern enough. And this year, the theme of our exhibit was a Commodore retrospective, because it was the 40th anniversary of the PET. And there was also a Texas Instruments retrospective and an Apple retrospective as well. But we are the Commodorians. Over here, I think you can see my pointer. Yeah, this is Chris Falla here. Chris was holding down the VIC-20s and 64s. Here's my friend Jeff Brace. He is also one of the main guys in the Vintage Computer Federation. These volunteers do so much work. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Jeff and his whole team, and Evan and the whole Vintage Computer Federation, the amount of hours that they put in, year-round, organizing the club and organizing this festival is really incredible. So thank you guys so much for giving us an awesome event that we love coming to every year, as well as all the other events that you guys do throughout the year. Dadler, what's up, dude? How's it going, my man? So here we have Chris Falla, we have Jeff Brace, and you all know who that is. That's my partner in crime, Mr. Anthony Becker, the other half of the Guru Meditation and Commodore historian and collector. Here in the middle, we have an absolutely incredible man who we are very, very lucky to have on the team. That is Bill Hurd. He is a Commodore engineer and designer, well known for the Commodore 128, also the Plus 4. I'm not even going to go into his whole resume, but he's one of the key guys, in the 8-bit in the history of Commodore 8-bit computers. Peeking out above Bill's head is Mr. Todd George. He was our coach. Todd is also an avid collector. He brought some amazing Commodore pets, and Todd has a podcast called Chicken Lips Radio, which I encourage you all to listen to. It's all about Commodore, and it's an awesome, awesome podcast. One of my favorites. And then here's me, as you can see. I'm an Amiga guy. It's really cool because, you know, like, here, full disclosure, I am not a Commodore expert, okay? Like, I love the Amiga, and, you know, I know the Amiga really well. I'm not an Amiga expert either. Like, you know, I can't tell you, like, rev this of this specific motherboard, and, you know, I don't know, like, all of the specific details of all the hardware and all the peripherals, you know. But I do know Amiga pretty well, and the main thing I like to do is use my Amiga for cool art projects. You know, that's why I got it back then. That's what I still use it for today. Of course, I play games. Even though I'm not like a hardware expert, I still know the Amiga really well. So I was repping the Amiga along with Anthony. And then here we have our new friend, Mr. Rob Clark, who is also in the chat. Rob came all the way in from Switzerland, and Rob bought some really, really rare machines that we're going to check out. Again, I'm not a Commodore expert, so I learned from this exhibit as well. I learned from Todd about the PET. I learned from Anthony about the old adding machines and calculators. I learned from Chris about the VIC series. And I learned from Rob about the Commodore Max and some other really rare goodies that he brought, like the Commodore 16. Rob makes this amazing thing for the Commodore Max. It's like a Max multi-cartridge. It's sort of like it's a multi-cartridge, so you can load software off the multi-cartridge. I'm just getting to know Rob, so I can't give him like I know he does like amazing things with Commodore, but I don't know them all in detail. So I'm sorry, Rob. If you want to throw your link in the chat, please do, and I'll play some clips from your video to give everyone an idea of what your part of the exhibit was all about. So thank you so much, Rob. That's us. That's the Commodorians. Like the best team ever. These guys are super, super smart, way smarter than I am. They are, you know, Commodore historians and like the nicest guys in the whole world. And it was just amazing to be on a team with them. Rob Clark. Oh, the Multimax. There you go. There's Rob's device. Go to multimax.co. That's multimax.co. Mr. Paul 3D, what is up, my friend? Awesome to have you in the chat as always, Paul. Thank you so much. Let's see what's going on here. Oh yeah, C64 television, Bill Hurd for the win. You know it. I mean, how lucky are we to have him on our team? That is just too cool. Dadler, on the last stream I sent you a YouTube link with Commodore 64 video playback on a 64, but forgot that I also have where you can be seen 16 colors. Yes, yeah, Dadler, please send all that to me. Absolutely. Please send it all. Thank you so much for that. All right, so let's go through some more of the pictures. Here, again, another shot of some of the guys. We got Jeff, Anthony, Todd. Now you can see his face better. Myself and Rob standing in front of our awesome booth. And here, let's see. I think the pictures are a little bit out of order. Where the heck? I don't know. I just uploaded these to Flickr now. I'm going through my Flickr right now. But here we are. This is us assembling the booth. We had a complete retrospective, so everything like down here in this corner was the early stuff, like the adding machines. And then as you came down this way, it led all the way up to Amiga OS 4.1, which we had on this screen here. But this was just a shot of us getting the booth ready. Let's see. So here we are. Friday, day one. The way Vintage Computer Festival is laid out, it happens over 3 days. Day one is Friday, and that day is like really a day for classes, and it's a day for setup. So anyone who has an exhibition gets to set up on Friday, and the way like Evan and the guys say, like Friday is really like the day for the exhibitors to have fun. Because let me tell you, like once the show starts on Saturday and Sunday, it's just like game on. Like it is just so busy. It's hard to see the other exhibits, and it's hard to do anything except man your own booth. Especially us Commodorians, we were just slammed the whole time. we had a constant stream of people just like lining up to see all the old machines, especially the Commodore 65. That was definitely a highlight of the show. But anyway, here is Friday. This is Bill Hurd's surface mount technology class. And last year, if you remember, at Vintage Computer Festival, Anthony had a broken Amiga 4000, and that gave Bill the idea to do a class about like recapping and how to work with surface mount boards. Yo, Stig's World in the house. What is up, dude? Speaking of surface mount technology, Stiggs knows a bit about that. So this was at the end of the class. Bill's, he had all this cool equipment. This is so cool because I don't know anything about surface mount technology, so I learned a lot in the class. And he had like a hands-on workshop where he had all these cool tools, and he was teaching you how to remove chips from the boards, replace chips on the boards, and it was just awesome. Bill is a super great guy. Oh, here's the other picture I was looking for. Here is the shot of our exhibit. This is the exhibit up and running to full capacity. Down here is where we had our adding machines and our calculators and our typewriters. As you know, Commodore is actually Commodore business machines, and that's how they started out. They started out making business machines, calculators, adding machines, and so we started down here in the timeline with those machines. And then it's really small. I have a better picture of it later on, but right here is the Kim 1. Todd brought that. That's Todd's Kim 1. And then over here we have the pet section, and then moving on we have like the VIC section. We have then we have like the Commodore Plus 4s, the Commodore 116. This is like Rob's section, the Commodore Max. We had the Commodore 128 and 64 in here as well. Then we had the Amiga 1000, and then we had the 500. We had the 2000, 3000. And of course, right here is the Commodore 65, which was definitely the highlight. Some would say the highlight of the show, or the highlight of our exhibit. It was pretty amazing that we had a 65 there that was up and running. Now, ironically, when Anthony first turned on his 65, it wasn't quite working. Half or a third of the keyboard wasn't working right. So Anthony opened it up and performed like open heart surgery on it, like right in the middle of the show. And but it was no problem because like Bill Hurd was there looking over shoulder. So like he's like, all right, as long as Bill's watching me, like I know I'm not gonna mess up because he's got my back. And they were able to fix it, and the machine was up and running all weekend. Man, that machine was on for like 10 hours a day for both days. Then here we have my 1200 and the 4000. I was doing a comparison between AGA chipset and ECS chipset. Over here we had a CD32. I had TimeGal up and running. Those of you who check my stream, I'm a big fan of TimeGal, which is a new port done by Iraq to the Amiga. It's how amazing is it that there's new Amiga games coming out in 2017. And then here we have Amiga OS 4.1 and MorphOS up and running, which is the latest generation Amiga stuff. And here is like a little post Commodore exhibit. After Commodore folded, a bunch of companies bought the rights to the Commodore name and logo and just slapped it on stuff. So here's like a Commodore MIDI keyboard, a Commodore MP3 player, a Gravel, which is like this media controller, a Commodore laptop, which is basically just a netbook with the Commodore logo on it. It was awesome. C64 Television. Have ever met Dave Haney? I sure have. Dave Haney actually comes to the show quite frequently. I've met Dave a bunch of times, and I've worked with him on the Friend Up, the Friend OS with Mr. David Pleasance. We had a really cool seminar with Dave, and I've recorded Dave's talks at Vintage Computer Festival for it. So, I know him. I've also, we hung out at Viva Amiga World Premiere because both of us worked on the film. So, yes, and Dave is a super, super nice guy. And so far, everyone who I've met from Commodore has just been a totally cool, awesome, amazing person. And I think their personalities shine through in these machines. And I think that's kind of what makes them so special. Yeah, TimeGal is awesome, Eagle Beaster. Recta Pete. Oh, what's up, Recta Pete? Oh, who's this guy over here? Who's that guy? I don't know. I know who that guy is. Recta Pete, I know you're at work, Recta Pete. So we're going to get into the video footage in a minute. But here we have my buddy Pete Fletcher and his buddy Joe, who had this amazing battle chess tournament. They basically connected all these different computers together with no modem cables, and they had a massive battle chess tournament. Of course, the Amiga was represented well, being that battle chess originated on the Amiga. It was really, really cool exhibit. We're going to check in with Pete and Joe a little bit later for sure. It's awesome to have you, Recta Pete. Thank you so much for checking in. I mean, that's the cool thing about the show is we've met so many new friends through the show, and it's just like a great group of people. From everyone from like all the exhibitors are super cool, and you know all the people who come are really interested, and we've met so many new friends. And Pete is one of them. My first ever time displaying at VCF, Anthony and I had an Amiga 30 like retrospective exhibit, 30 years of Amiga, and ironically, right next to us was this guy with his Atari ST collection. So it made for a very fun and interesting weekend. And ever since then, you know, Pete and I have been great friends, and it's so cool. There's just a great group of people, just like all you guys here in chat. Pete, you look tired in that. Ugh, George, what is up, dude? Nice to see you. You look tired. Well, this show was very tiring. Pete, I squeezed you in at the last second there. That's like Sunday afternoon, right before we packed up. The tournament, I think, had already ended. It was like the battle for third place. And let me tell you, it's exhausting being in the show. I don't know. I talked to hundreds of people. I'm sure you did too. And I was just whipped. Absolutely whipped. I was also on the AV team. So I was recording for the Vintage Computer Federation as well. So I was like running my exhibit, trying to help them record stuff for their archives and for their YouTube channel. So it was a very busy weekend. Inverse phase. If you're into retro and old enough to remember, there's a good chance you're tired often. Very true, Inverse. Let me just, you know what? Hey, once Recta Pete is here in the chat, I know he's at work, so he might not be able to stay the whole time. Let's just get a little taste of his exhibit, okay? Once we're here. You know what? So right now the footage looks really washed out. That's because my camera shoots what's called Canon Log 2. It's very technical video stuff, but basically this is like the best quality you can get out of the camera. It has the most dynamic range. One day maybe I'll do like a cinematography stream, because that's actually what I do know about. That's what I do for a living. But you know, the footage looks like poop until you apply what's called a LUT, a lookup table, to it. So let's just do that, because I want Pete to look his best here. Pete, and I think his buddy's named Joe. I think he's Geek Juice 420, if I'm not mistaken. Anyone with a handle like that is a friend of mine. Now I'm just. This is like one of the first. This is the first like full project I'm gonna edit on my new PC. I've always been editing on my Mac, but I just built an awesome new PC, so I'm excited to start editing with it. Let me just throw a LUT on here, Pete. Make you look good, not all like washed out and tired, right? And I've drank a lot of coffee and Red Bull today, so my hands are a little bit shaky. There you go. All right, we gotta make it a little bit less green, but that's fine. All right, let's hear what Recta Pete and Geek Juice 420 have to say. I'm off mic right now. I have Pete's mic on. But I'm just explaining what this is all about.
So we've been running a CPU versus CPU battle chess tournament. It's all run with null modem cables. All we do is hook the cables up, launch the software, and the computers do the rest. So one team will play light, the other will play dark, and they battle it out till somebody wins. And so the first tournament we had yesterday, we had a seeded tournament where we had like a league beforehand, and we kind of went off of what they were based on. And Windows won yesterday. And then today we had a random tournament where we chose out of a hat. And the Apple II GS has beaten Windows in the final. And the third place game is the Macintosh Color versus the Macintosh Black and White. And it's still going, so we're not sure how that turns out. So
I'm glad Windows went down.
The Amiga was here both days, and unfortunately went out in the first round both times. Yesterday lasted only maybe about a 15-minute match, and today a little longer, but still same result.
Poor Amiga. The Amiga didn't do so well, but Battle Chess was invented on the Amiga, so If you know, so Amiga, you know, still wins in its own way. Now, guys, like, these are just like sneak peeks. I'm gonna put all these video up on my YouTube, and this is raw footage. So, for example, like, I would never put this by itself up on my YouTube channel. I got close-ups of the machines playing the game. I'm just, again, this is like a workshop stream for me. I wasn't, you know, once I edit it all together, I will make everything look pretty. Let's see, battle chess. Where are we here? I'll figure it out later. I forgot what roll you're on here, Pete. The other thing that was happening, here we go. Battle chess 1. I probably have some other shots of the exhibit in here somewhere. I'm gonna go through all this footage, hopefully on the stream today. We'll see how much time we have, but we'll get into this in a minute. I just wanted to throw that up there to show you guys Pete's exhibit real quick. He is awesome. No problem, Pete. Like I said, I'm gonna upload it to my YouTube channel. Now, you know, even though we're an Amiga YouTube channel, I'm not gonna abandon my Amiga peeps. Don't you worry. But there's so much cool stuff at the show. I am gonna put up these like little 2 to 5 minute videos about our friends' exhibits as well. Because hey, man, you're our friends, and we like to help our friends out. Inverse Phase is also in here somewhere. Once Inverse is in the chat, I'm going off script a little bit here. I was going to start with Friday and go through all the days, but once Pete jumped in the stream and Inverse jumped in the stream, I'm going to jump ahead real quick and show you their exhibits because they're awesome. Now I think Inverse, I think you are the last clip on roll 5 if I'm not mistaken. There you are. There's Inverse. I hope you don't mind me showing this. If you don't want me to show it, then I won't. Okay. I'm just like, oh, let's show all the stuff, blah blah blah. But I never really asked your permission yet. But I assume you think it's cool. If you don't, just tell me now. Inverse Phase. I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. Inverse Phase. There we go. Let's see what's again, this is my first time like going through this footage, so excuse me if it's slow or something. So here we go. I'm gonna mute these. I'm also gonna give Inverse a little bit of color correction here so he doesn't look so flat. Bump 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 bump. There he is, looking good. Yo, Pete, thanks for the follow, my man. Inverse, I'll just skim through it quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Also, the thing that's crazy here is that I'm listening to the broadcast. So everything I'm doing here on my screen is out of sync because on my screen it's real time, but my broadcast has like a 5-second delay. So if I'm just totally out of my mind or off, my timing's off. That's why. Oh, George, you have the same trucker hat with a 500 printed on it. Nice. No problem, no problem, Pete. I'm glad. Thanks for the follow, dude. Fastwitch Gamer, was I at the Commodore stand? You know I was at the Commodore stand. I was one of the Commodorians. I was repping the Amiga. You might even... I guess you didn't talk to me because you see what I look like now. Alright, let's take a look at Inverse here.
Brendan, also known as Inverse Phase.
What do you got going on here, Brendan?
So, I'm obsessed with chiptunes, and I really wanted to figure out a way to, I don't know, take my hobby to its logical extreme. So, I've sort of done that. My housemate is a genius and helped me fab basically a board that we can turn into an external sound card for the SID, for the Pokey, for the AY, whatever sound chip you want. And it's universal, so if I ever want to control more sound chips, I can just print the board again rather than having to do something special. And then I'm going to eventually have a tracker finished that will control any of the chips and support them. You can hot plug them and move instruments back and forth and that sort of a thing, so that instead of having to, when I go to perform at a show, I don't really like carrying all of the hardware that I have to, plug in and control it and whatever. So now I can just, take a box with 8+ boards in it and control the systems without having.
All right, Paul. Awesome, Rob Clark. Thank you for letting me know that the volume is a little bit low on the videos. I appreciate that because I cannot monitor my own voice because I would hear myself talking, and that would be extremely distracting to me. So, Rob, thank you very much for telling me. I'm gonna pump it up right now, baby. Let's see. So let's try. Let's try this. Let's see if this is better.
Having, 4-inch square board instead of a whole Commodore is kind of a big space savings. For a one-man act, it's not like I'm a big band or anything, so I don't really want to, carry all that shit.
And is there anything else besides the size that is advantageous to the board?
So it's also a knowledge quest. I want to learn how to talk to the SID better, and do it myself. And I'm by no means as good of a coder as, say, a demo scene coder that knows exactly, how to twiddle the bits and, get 4-channel sample mixing on a Commodore or whatever. But I figure if I can at least get a little bit closer to the hardware, I can control it in a way that, will be a little bit more intrinsic to the way my brain works, and that sort of a thing. And then, I've got this cute, ultra cute 8-channel mixer I can plug all of the boards into, and it's switchable stereo mono. So if I wanted to do something like, have stereo SID or, stuff like that is possible.
Cool. Let's
you want to take a look inside here?
Yeah, let's take a look. Let's see it.
This is a mess over here, but
I've got no worries. What do you got in here?
So I've got a giant USB hub, because apparently you can't buy an 8-port USB hub. It's either 7 or 13 or something. So go large, I guess, and spare parts and extra boards and whatever.
There's the boards up there on the top.
Extra empty cables to wire up a new board if I need it. The mixer.
Let me see the mixer.
That's this guy that I.
Oh, nice. It's just I didn't show the mixer again because I'm going to edit this all together.
Yeah,
Sweet.
4-channel stereo, so
right.
And with a mono switch.
Oh, cool.
So if I want to, mix all channels at once.
And those boards look
channels,
sweet. Those boards are beautiful.
They really do.
And then your computer
and so,
is controlling.
Right here, I've got a TIA in this guy. I've got a Pokey in this guy. SID in this guy, and there's the filter caps. And then this one is not wired up right now, but it's an SCC out of a Japanese game cartridge for the MSX.
Awesome, Inverse. That your voice, it sounds fine, dude. Dude, Fast Switch Gamer, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that very much. I am a retro streamer, obviously focused on Commodore Amiga. I play with Amiga games on my real Amiga, as well as remakes and all that fun stuff. So thank you. Welcome to the stream. I am going over my photos and videos from Vintage Computer Festival East this past weekend. It was an amazing festival. Inverse, now I see, of course, you have the chips on the board. So yeah, there's no emulation happening here. Awesome, dude. P. Cotter 72 says, do you have a permit to carry that case around? Oh man. Oh, I know, dude. Inverse, tell me about it. My voice was shot too. I was exhausted and my voice was shot. Awesome exhibit, Inverse. So I'll tell you what, let me just I jumped into the videos a little bit early because Recta Pete and Inverse were here, and also Rob Clark is here. So I want to show Rob's section as well. I was just starting. Let's just come back to this real quick. It's so funny with these live shows. It's like anything goes. I don't always stick to the schedule. If people in the chat are here who or participated in the event or want to see something, I deviate from my plan. But let's just go through these photos really quick. This is Bill Hurd's surface mount class. I have a video of that as well that I'll show. I'm just gonna pound through these photos really quick. Again, this is the cool thing about having a YouTube channel. Okay, awesome, Rob. You're in it for the long haul. Awesome. C64 television. This took place in Wall Township, New Jersey, which is about an hour and a half from New York City, hour 45 minutes. and it is right next to Asbury Park, where Bruce Springsteen got his start, and Bon Jovi as well. So a little piece of history there. It's at the Info Age Science Center, which is this amazing museum, and it's a former military base, a military communications base. It's a really cool place, man. So this is the cool thing about having a YouTube channel is you know, the whole point of doing these Twitch streams and my YouTube channel with Anthony is meeting new friends. And here are like 2 new friends who joined our Westchester Amiga user group. My friend Bella over here on the left, and my friend J. Walter Hawks over here on the right. These guys are amazing. It's so awesome to have new Amiga friends that I've met in 2016 thanks to the channel. And these guys were like a massive help. They were like my assistants and Anthony's assistants throughout the whole festival. It was just awesome hanging out with these guys. This is a really cool. Our friend Ethan Dix did this amazing exhibit about connecting a Commodore PET to a 3D printer. This was a super cool class. Again, we're in Friday right now. This is Friday. Friday is the day with all the classes. And then Saturday and Sunday were the exhibit days. Rob Clark, thanks for the follow, my man. Thank you for the follow. It's a pleasure to have you and to meet you at the festival and to be on the Commodorian team with you. And then here we are setting up the exhibit. Our friend Chris, who was just in the chat before, he had this great idea to have this awesome shelving and to put black material behind the shelving, which really made the exhibit look beautiful. He also had the idea to make these posters that we put above the exhibit. So Chris, thank you so much for that. That was a great idea. There's Anthony taking a hammer to the Apple IIs. Yeah, dude, a pet to a 3D printer. That is awesome sauce, dude. That is. As you can see, Anthony's really wet. That's because it was pouring like crazy there. We had to like load these machines in very carefully in a torrential rain. Of course, he's just joking because we're all, when it's all said and done, is, you know, anyone who loves vintage computers is like a friend of ours. Apple II, I had an Apple II back then, and I absolutely loved it. Of course, here's the holy grail of the show, the Commodore 65. There's Todd, Anthony, and Bella showing off Anthony's 65. Anthony making funny faces as always. Todd with the 65. This is a model C65, serial number 79. So this is obviously, Anthony thinks this is one of the later ones, believe it or not, and there was only a couple hundred made. So he's got serial number 79, which is very, very cool. Again, more pictures. There's the C65 up and running. Now we changed this. This is a little bit confusing because everyone thought that maybe this is the image from the 3000, but it's not. It's actually the image from the 65. Oh, I'm gonna totally butcher this. This is the gentleman who invented C++. Okay, so again, Friday was the day of classes. Now this is Saturday, and on Saturday it's just exhibits and a keynote session. So this gentleman gave the keynote session on Saturday, and he talked all about the history of C++. He's the guy that developed it, and I cannot pronounce his name. I am feeling quite embarrassed right now, so I apologize to this brilliant man that I cannot remember his name. I wasn't quite expecting that, but if you Google, you know, C++ inventor, there he is. Amiton TV in the house. Johnny, look at this, Johnny. How you like that, Johnny? How you like that? Amiton representing. Here's a shot of the ADF files I got loaded up on my Amiga 500 for the demo. My buddy Jeremy. Jeremy is the man. He is from retrogamer.ca. He also broadcasts here on Twitch. These guys are amazing. Jeremy and Thierry, our other close friend, they had a whole exhibit about French and European microcomputers. Basically the computers that they grew up with in France. Their exhibit was killer, and they're the best guys ever. Oh, Harleen, next time I get a Retro Cram t-shirt. Oh, come on, I need one right now. Roar, the Commodore 65 can display 256 colors on the screen at once, but Anthony's couldn't because Anthony's does not have enough RAM. So we learned that. We learned that this weekend. And these are some of the European computers that I had never heard of before, and it was very cool. Their exhibit was awesome. They always have a great exhibit. They put a lot of work into this exhibit. My favorite one is this one, the Alice. I mean, how cool is that? It's red. But as Thierry mentioned, she was very cranky that weekend. She didn't work very well. Rob Clark, thank you very much. Rob put a great link into the chat how to pronounce Bjarne's name. Again, I apologize for my my lack of education on how to pronounce his name, but he was the developer of C++, and he gave an amazing keynote. Thank you very much, Rob, for that. I appreciate that. Amington, I look good in this t-shirt. Of course I do, man. It's a good-looking shirt. These computers are awesome. There she is, the Alice. The Thompson, with little choplifter. Any computer that can play choplifter is a computer I like. Look at that carrying case that Alice comes in. That's amazing. It's even got a red cassette drive to match. And it's got like an Alice in Wonderland graphic on the cover of the manual. I love it. This is an amazing person who came to the show. He is a very famous computer hacker. His name is Bernie S. He is part of the 2600 team. I've been listening to their radio show longer than any other tech radio show. It's called Off the Hook. It's every Tuesday night on WBAI in New York, or you can just go to 2600.com, and they have archives of all of their shows. There's also a documentary made about him by 2600, and he is a friend and a really, really amazing person with an amazing story. The documentary that was made about him is called Freedom Downtime. So if you guys are interested in seeing a cool documentary about an important piece of computer history, head over to 2600.com and pick up the documentary Freedom Downtime. These are also the same guys that put on the Hope conference every other year. Hope is Hackers on Planet Earth that happens in New York City every other year, and it's just an amazing event. Amington, this is VCF, Vintage Computer Festival, baby. Oh, and this is Mr. Rob Clark's, one of his many contributions to our exhibit. This is the Commodore Max. It's a machine that was released in Japan, and I don't think it didn't really see the light of day here in the U.S. as far as I know. But we'll hear from Rob in a minute, and Rob is also the creator of the Multimax cartridge, and you can see it's multimax.co, and I believe he put the link in the chat before, and all the chat history is saved. So if you are watching this on tape. Not on tape. If you are watching, there ain't no tape going on here. If you're watching the recording of this episode, definitely you can get the link from the chat, or it's www.multimax.co. Hope was pretty fun. Oh, you went there Inverse Phase. Awesome. Yeah, Hope was cool. And there's the Amiga 1000 playing Music Mouse. Music Mouse is a piece of software that we'll be talking about extensively on our YouTube channel, because we have friends that made a whole project using the Music Mouse software, and they cut an album called Symphony for an Amiga, like a real album, like a real record album. And we also met Laurie Spiegel, who is a pioneer in electronic music and also the creator of the Music Mouse program. So stay tuned for that on our YouTube channel. Here we have my 500. Of course, got some Lemmings on the 500. Who doesn't love Lemmings? It's probably my favorite Amiga game of all time. Still play it to this day. Let's just bang these. There's the 65. That was the star of the show. So, so overall, again, more information. It could display 256 colors out of a 4,096 color palette. So there you go. Inverse, there's a plus play on tape joke in there somewhere. Yeah, for sure, dude. That's a very rare Amiga 3000 UX, UX meaning Unix, and right next to it is the tape drive, and you actually have to load Unix onto the machine using this tape drive. And there's my 1200, which you guys see on the stream all the time. I was doing a Deluxe Paint demo showing the difference between the original chipset, the original ham mode, and the ham 8 mode, the AGA mode. This obviously is Venus, and that is a classic image on Deluxe Paint. That is not even a ham mode picture, but it's a beautiful one and classic. And here's the Amiga CD32 with Time Gal. You guys saw me play Time Gal on this channel. It's amazing. Earrock did an amazing job porting this to Amiga like 3 weeks ago. New games coming out for the Amiga in 2017. I love it. Here I am, happy as a clam in front of our exhibit. I'm just going to speed through. Oh, this is amazing. Our friend Alexander, he made this. He made this amazing like Commodore belt buckle. He's a super, super smart and talented dude. There he is. Alexander is another great person that we met thanks to this festival. I'm just going to... Oh, there's Recta Pete, going back to Recta. There's Recta Pete and the Geek Juice hanging out at the Commodore exhibit. They even, look at their shirts, man. They even made t-shirts for their exhibit. How awesome is that? That is awesome. C64 Television says 1200 with the Wyco Commander, best joystick ever. Oh yeah, you know it. We actually, the place we stayed on was right on the beach. It was a little chilly, but it was still nice to be on the beach. The show happens on the Jersey Shore, and you know, half the fun of the festival is just going out and having a great time with friends. So that's what we did Saturday night. There's Asbury Park. This place is amazing. It's the Silver Ball Pinball Museum. They have incredible pinball machines here, as well as vintage arcade games. There's me and Inverse hanging out, having a good time playing some pinball. T2 Judgment Day, that's the pinball machine that was like, that's the one that's nearest and dearest to my heart, because that's the one I played in high school. T2 was like a huge turning point in my life. When I saw Terminator 2, I was like, you know what, I want to make movies, I want to go into the film business. And I still have my Terminator 2 Judgment Day Laserdisc Special Edition. So yeah, it was great to play some T2 again. And Thierry is a man of many faces. He is a hilarious dude. Yeah, I mean, Asteroids is my all-time favorite arcade game, I would say. Nothing beats seeing like a vector graphics game in person. The emulation is awesome, but nowhere near as cool as the actual game with the vector graphics and like that bass. Like the bass that comes out of that machine is just unparalleled. Anthony and Inverse. Me with the Pong. I mean, that's an original Pong cabinet. Unfortunately, the guts are not the original, but you still get the flavor of Pong. These are some very, very rare old pinball machines from 1950. I heard there was even one from the 20s there. I don't know if I saw that one. All the guys lined up playing some pinball. What a weekend, man. This was just too cool. This is just too cool. Oh, Sanad, you've got one in your museum. Yeah, Sanad, I cannot wait to come see your museum. I'm so psyched for it. I'm totally coming. Oh, Inverse, you have yeah, dude. I've got a large Laserdisc collection, and I've got like 5 players. I think this might be my favorite picture of the whole weekend. It's Walter. He was playing a pinball game, and I was like walking out, and I knocked on the glass, and I was like, Walter, and boom. He's just cool. He is cool as ice, man. Walter, I wish I was as cool as Walter. We'll just. There's Anthony pretending he's a flamingo in front of our hotel. Oh man, you can't wait to meet me at Amiga 32. I'm trying to get to Amiga 32. Don't count me out. Let's see, maybe I can just go through these. I'm just gonna do some highlights here. I don't want to like bore you guys too much with all these pictures. So here we go. The 65 is back in action. We took away the 3000 keyboard, so it's more obvious that the 65 was working. It was running some demos. Interestingly enough, there's even like a workbench for the 65. I didn't get a chance to like really experience the 65 as much as I want to because the show is so busy. But don't worry, Anthony and I are going to do a full episode about the 65 on our YouTube channel where we get into a lot of detail. Yeah, Sanad, your museum's near Frankfurt. Perfect. I can't wait to come. Mr. Paul, you hope I can make Amiga 32. Me too. Sanad, okay, there's the link to Sanad's museum. So even if you don't live near Frankfurt, come check it out. Oh man, my green screen is getting a little weak here. I'll change that in a second. Sorry if I'm becoming more transparent as the light changes. Here's the guys at their exhibit. There's Chris. This is a really cool picture because that is a game that Chris programmed when he was 16 years old. And I don't think he's played it since he was 16 years old. So this was a really cool moment for Chris. And Rob was enjoying the game as well. There's me and Rob hanging out in front of the exhibit. again, thanks to VCF and this hobby, you meet new friends. And Rob is someone who I just met this weekend, and I know he's going to be a friend forever because he's an awesome dude, and we have a lot in common, a lot of our same interests. You know what I'm saying? Amix312, yeah, man. There was some sort of workbench for the C65. It was a demo, and like when we loaded the demo, it said loading workbench, but it wasn't a workbench like you would know on the Amiga 500 or Amiga. It said loading workbench, but I never actually saw a screen that looked like workbench, so I'm not quite sure what it was. Again, we are going to dig deeper into the 65 on the YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com/thegurumeditate, youtube.com/thegurumeditation, look for a C65 episode. It's going to be a little while because I have 850 gigabytes worth of footage to go through, and I have some really big projects at work coming up this spring. There's the pet exhibit. Todd brought his pets. The original chiclet pet with the built-in tape drive. That thing is so cool. The pet is such a cool looking computer. I don't have a pet, but I tell you, after the show, I really want one. There's Anthony's typewriter, calculator, and adding machine exhibit, as well as Todd's Kim 1 motherboard. He made this really nice display case for it. Close-ups of all of the machines. There's Todd's Kim 1. He actually made this clock, which is pretty impressive. Let's see. Again, I want to. We'll go through these pictures here. You know what? You guys are we're almost done anyway. I'll just finish going through the pictures. Why not? I'm sure you guys are into it. So it was the 40th anniversary. It is the 40th anniversary of the pet this year. So the pet needs to be well represented, and Todd did a great job. That's so. I mean, look how that thing opens up. That's incredible. That's so cool. And it's such like a simple board in there. The pet is a machine I don't know much about, and I learned a lot about it at the show. Same thing with the VIC-20. The early Commodore stuff, like I said, I am not as familiar with because I'm really an Amiga guy. Of course, I had a 64 as well. I got into Commodore with the 64 and then really into it with the Amiga, but the stuff prior to the 64, I'm not well educated on. This is a very unique 64 with a different, the brown logo instead of the traditional Commodore 64 logo, and this is pretty rare. Commodore 116, thanks to Rob. It looks like a +4, but we'll check out Rob's video in a moment where he explains exactly what it is. The classic of the classic, the bread bin Commodore 64. That's the one I had. I also had the 64C. The SX64, which was the portable Commodore 64. That thing is awesome, man. I would love to have one of those too. Look at that. That's just a beautiful piece of hardware. Look at that. Oh man, I love it. Now, I did learn about the SX64 from Anthony when I met him a while back. I never knew there was a portable Commodore 64 back then. But now that I got into this hobby, I'm well aware, and it is just a gorgeous machine. I would love to have one of those. I think Anthony's got like 2 of them. Maybe one day one of them will be mine. There's a 64C. That's the one I had. Beautiful machine. It matches the design. They changed the design from the bread bin to this to kind of go more with the 128. Here's some more of Rob's machines. He's got the Commodore 16, the +4, and is that the 264? I can't remember which one that is back there, but we'll have Rob tell us. I'm gonna play his video in a minute. And here, this is a really interesting one. This is actually Anthony's machine, and this is the Australian version of the Commodore 64. The case is really cool. It's just a Commodore 64, but the case is very unique and very different. It's a beautiful design. I'd never seen it before. Rob Clark, right, a 264. Cool. Thanks, Rob. Again, these are machines that I'm just learning about now, to be honest. And that's why it's awesome to come to these shows and meet people like you, Rob, and the other guys who are real Commodore historians. I have a blast learning about this stuff. It's awesome. These are gorgeous machines. I love the color, the gray color, the light gray keys with the gray case. It's very, very, very cool. And of course, we had some Prince of Persia playing, which I believe is a new port. It's a new port to the 64. It was Chris's idea to have the shelving with the monitors above the machines was really smart. And of course, our poster up there. There's Todd with his pets and his Kim 1. And back to Thierry and Jeremy. And finishing out the slideshow with a little frisbee. The weather was terrible on Thursday and Friday. It was just like, on Friday and Saturday it was like torrential rain. And then on Sunday it was like a perfect, gorgeous day. And, you know, perfect time to whip out the frisbee that Sanad sent to me all the way from Germany. The Amiga Summer Festival 88 frisbee. And have a little game of frisbee out in the front yard in front of the InfoH Science Center. So Sanad, thank you very much for the frisbee. And you know, that's it for the photos for now, guys. I was getting to some videos. C64 television. Thanks for the great photos. I have to get to the kids from school, but you'll be back for your next stream. Awesome, C64 television. Thanks so much for tuning in, dude. It's always a pleasure to have you. All right, so we are pretty much done with the photos. I think we're gonna get into some videos now. Oh, Bumblebee, what is up, dude? I am a party animal. I love the Deadmau5. this whole weekend started out with a Deadmau5 concert. I went to see Deadmau5. He was playing here in New York City, and it was an awesome show. So cool. I think we're gonna move into some videos right now. I'm gonna just take a quick break because the Cosmic Cranberry Kombucha is working its magic. So just give me like 45 seconds to a minute. I will be right back and we'll watch some videos. Thanks everyone for tuning in today. I'm having a blast hanging out with you guys. That's what makes these streams fun, is hanging out with other Amiga and Commodore fans. It's really like the best community ever. And I really appreciate everyone who is watching today. Thank you so much. I hope you're all having fun. I'll be back. Just give me like 1 minute. I'll be right back. Yes, Stiggs, pee break. You know, life happens. So, alright, we're getting back into it. Let's take a look at some videos. I was going to go through it in chronological order. Basically, I've got a lot of videos. It's going to take way longer than the stream, and it'll be pretty boring if I go through every clip. But this was going to be kind of like a workshop. Because I do need to go through every single clip and label it and keyword it. What's going to happen is I'm going to make a series of videos on my YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, The Guru Meditation, youtube.com/The Guru Meditation. You guys know Anthony and I have that fun YouTube channel where we do silly things. So here, let's see. So how to do this? I have 6 roles. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show Rob's section. Now, the funny thing is, well, it wasn't funny at the time, but what was happening, so I shoot with a camera called a Canon C300 Mark II. It's a 4K camera, and it shoots to Compact Flash 2.0 cards, and it shoots 4K to the Compact Flash cards. And while I was in the middle of, while we're in the middle of Rob's presentation to me, one of the cards I had what's called a buffer overflow. So there's as the camera's shooting, it's like putting the footage into a buffer and then it's writing it to the card. And I think one of my cards is either going bad or I don't know, it was overheating or something, and it crapped out. The good news is, a really cool feature of the camera is that you can record to 2 cards simultaneously, so you always have like a master and a backup. So fortunately I had the backup and everything's cool, but I was sweating it. I was really sweating it. So I know exactly where Rob's footage is because I want to take a lot of care with it and make sure that it was okay. So here's Rob's footage. Let's take a look at Rob. So for those of you who are just tuning in, welcome to the stream. This is the Vintage Computer Festival Hangover episode. I'm just going through my photos and videos from the Vintage Computer Festival, which was this past weekend. It was 3 days, Friday through Sunday. It was an amazing festival. Myself and my friends had a Commodore Retrospective exhibit, and it covered everything from like the early Commodore business machines, like the adding machines and the calculators and the typewriters, all the way up through Amiga OS 4.1, which is the latest and greatest in the Commodore world, you know, even though it's not really Commodore anymore, and it's almost like not even really Amiga anymore, but still, it's Amiga OS 4.1, so, you know, that's, so it was an amazing exhibit, it was an amazing show, and I just need to go through all of my footage and all my photos and organize it, right? So, Ragu Man, what's up, dude? How's it going, dude? Yeah, buffering. Buffering is no good. Pregnant Sausage. So the C65 could do 256 colors on screen at a 4096, but didn't come with enough RAM out of the box. Well, the C65 never came out, right? So these were all just prototypes. So who knows, right? The machine that Anthony had didn't have enough RAM to display all 256 colors, but it doesn't mean that other ones, you know, didn't have that. You know, maybe some other ones did have enough RAM. I don't know. I don't know what the method to their madness was in sending these out. So his particular one doesn't have enough RAM, but I'm sure there are others that do. I'm not sure. I don't think anyone's really sure. Sin Lao, what's up, dude? How's it going, my friend? Oh, Mr. P3D, you had that problem shooting a wedding video on a 7D. Well, that's unfortunate because the 7D only has 1 card slot. So if you have that problem, then you've got no backup. Fortunately, the C300 you can shoot simultaneously. So if something goes wrong on 1 card, then you have a backup. All right, so let's learn about the Plus 4 and the Commodore Max from Rob. What did I call it? Recovery Attempt 2? Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, Recovery Attempt 2 didn't go so well, so it's this one. There we go. Shh. It's freaking sales calls. Oh, no worries, pregnant. Yeah, you had multiple cameras, so you're okay. Cool. Yeah. Hello. Let's throw a LUT onto Rob. Give him a little bit of color. Again, my camera shoots Canon log. It's a gamma. Maybe one day I'll do a cinematography stream. But it basically shoots very flat, so you have the maximum dynamic range, and then you can decide like how much contrast you want. So I'm just gonna throw a little LUT on here. There he goes. Looking better there, Rob. No, Sanad, that was my phone. All right, let's learn a little bit about the machines that Rob bought. Again, right now, guys, we're just watching raw footage, and that's what I'm using Twitch for. Like, it's raw, man. Like, when I actually post this on my YouTube channel, I'm gonna cut the close-ups of the machines, show you some really nice details. But for now, we're just watching raw footage. So I hope it's interesting. I hope it's not too boring. I think you guys are gonna love it because Rob has lots of really cool stuff to say. But you'll see like all my mistakes, and you'll probably hear me like freak out when I get the buffer overflow error. All right, let's go for it. Let's make sure. Okay, hopefully if the volume's too low or something, just throw it in the chat. All right, guys. Okay, Rob, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Rob Clark. I've come here to VCF this year from Switzerland. As you may tell from the accent, I'm British. But yeah, Switzerland is my home, and a bit limited with the space, but you know, I brought a couple of bits with me to VCF this year, which form part of this wonderful Commodore display.
What did you bring?
So, okay, the first thing I bought was this, which is Commodore 116. This is part of what was known as the 264 series of machines. The original vision for the 264 was actually this machine here, which was meant to compete with the likes of Sinclair, who were the... at this point in time, the 64 was already selling millions, but the VIC-20, which I had here, was coming to end of line. And Shiraz Shivji, the lead engineer at Commodore, came to people like Bill Hurd and said, we want something that's going to be a spectrum killer, that's going to grab the low end of the market, that's going to replace the VIC-20. And this was basically the original vision of what that machine was. What basically happened, though, is this was about the same time as Jack Trammell left Commodore, and the management that replaced him didn't quite have the same focused vision that Jack had. So at that point, the whole model range exploded. And before you knew it, they'd basically taken the C1, the TED architecture, built in a bunch of extra software, word processor and such like, give it a much bigger funky keyboard, and all of a sudden you've got, although it's a great machine in its own right, it was then selling alongside the 64 for about the same price. They then were going to sell another version of the machine, the 264, which is identical to this but doesn't have the software in it. They also were going to sell a 232, which was a 32K version of this. Because they had spare keyboard mechanisms and everything, they also took that architecture, dropped it in here, gave it the same case design as the 64 and VIC, and called it a C16. And there was also then going to be another one above that that had a built-in speech synthesizer. So before you knew it, you had about 7, 8 models, and they kind of lost the focus of what the machine was actually trying to be. So the 116, the thing was the original target of that, only ended up selling in Germany.
Yeah, I've never seen it before. It's awesome. That's probably crushed it. Again, raw footage here, guys.
Oh, okay, fab.
I'm gonna go grab
Let me,
the machines. But,
yeah.
Can you talk Let's pause here for a second. Dude, you dig worms. Thank you for the follow. And Ragu Man. Oh, so that's okay. I know who you are, Ragu Man. Are you guys like hearing the volume? I'm sorry for the notifications like popping up during Rob's presentation. Usually I'm just playing a game and it doesn't matter. And when I just come up and dance like a fool, it's kind of funny. But I apologize for them coming up in front of Rob's presentation. And again, guys, what I'm going to do is on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/thegurumeditation, I'm going to post a video all about our Commodore Amiga exhibit. I'm going to edit all this footage together. And I'm also going to post shorter videos about our friends' exhibits. So make sure you follow. Right now we're just looking at raw footage. And it's even though raw footage, I think it's pretty awesome. I am going to. I'm sorry. I can turn off the Twitch alerts, so stand by. Let me turn it off. It's cool. So now, if anyone subscribes, it won't cover Rob. And here I was having. This is where I was having the buffer overflow problem. Let's see. Okay, so now I saw this machine down here, and I was like, "Is that the Porsche design?" And Rob. He sets me straight.
Because that is a story that annoys me.
Okay, yeah.
So
And people like me assume that's the Porsche design.
So if you lead into that and say, "Isn't that the Porsche machine?" and I'll tell you the real story. All right.
Rob, is this the Porsche machine over here?
Oh dear, the Porsche machine. Right? No, it most definitely isn't. Right. This machine here is, depending on whether you're from the US or Europe, is either known as the B128 in the US or the C610 in Europe. Basically, this machine was basically Commodore's business machine, right? This was going to follow on from the PET series. It was developed at around about the same time as the 64. It even has a SID chip in it, the same as the 64, but the processor is a derivation of the 6502, known as the 6509, that can address up to about a megabyte of memory. The problem, just the whole Porsche design thing, there was a story that Commodore had spoken to Porsche about being able to design a case for them. That never happened. Commodore did not ever have anything designed by Porsche. This machine here is a beautiful looking machine, but it was designed by a guy called Ira Valinsky, who was basically an industrial design guy that worked for Commodore. He was also the guy that designed the case for the Max machine. He was also the guy that designed the case for the Plus 4, and pretty much all of his machines look beautiful. But to clarify, Porsche had absolutely nothing to do with the design of that machine.
So there you go. Rob set me straight there. So yeah, so when I make awesome information, Rob. Thank you so much. When I make videos for YouTube, there is a lot of editing that goes into it. So the way I do it is, I have a shot of the person who's giving the presentation, and then after they're done, I go back and I get all the close-ups of the machines, and then I edit it all together, and it comes out nice, hopefully. So this is just raw footage. Inverse phase, yeah, VCF raw, baby. Oh, Ragu, man, what is up? My good sound check. All right, I know you want to see some time lapse, Ragu, man. I know you want to. You're welcome, Snot. Now, also, I'm not gonna I have hours and hours of footage. I'm not gonna, give up it all here. I want you guys to check out the YouTube video as well, which is gonna be a lot slicker and a lot tighter. So I don't have time to show everything on the stream today, nor do I just want to, go through all the raw footage. But we'll definitely learn a few things here today. Rob, you know why, Rob? You know why that was perfect? Is because you were good. You were awesome on camera, dude. Anthony and I, we're two goofballs. The amount of editing that I have to do when Anthony and I are on camera, it kills me. I kill myself. And Anthony always goes into some crazy laughing fit. I'm always messing up, overthinking things, and you just nailed it. You make my job easy. Too bad me and Anthony are such goofballs in front of the camera. We just, I give myself so much work. So boom, there's that. So that was awesome, Rob. Thanks. And then I do have the part when you talk about the Max as well. I'm just not sure where it is, because at this moment in time is where I had that buffer overflow error, and I ended up going back and shooting the Max with Rob the following day. So fortunately, we didn't lose any footage, which is amazing. But I just stopped. I stopped him here because of this this problem I was having with the camera, which was really stressing me out. But fortunately, we got it all in the can. Ragu, man, yep, that is Rob. Rob is in the chat. So we can go back. Let's just start taking a peek at some of the footage. I'll go through it quick. This is going back to Friday, just because I don't know where everything is. So instead of searching around for it, I'm just going to start at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of the festival, and start labeling stuff. Let's see, media duration 14 minutes. So I know what this is. So this is Bill Hurd's surface mount technology class. A little story about that. The class was amazing. So Bill, basically, he wanted to have a camera with a close-up shot of the boards as he worked on them. P Fontaine 2, thank you for the follow, my friend. I know who you are. Fellow WOG member, Pierre. Thank you so much for following. I appreciate that, bud. It's so for some reason. The only Amiga song comes on whenever anyone follows. For some reason, it's not on the stream, but I hear it in my ears. So that's why I always have a double take every time it comes on. So I showed up at on Friday. The first thing up was Bill Hurd's presentation about surface mount technology. He wanted a close-up shot so people could see what he was working on. He had a projection, but unfortunately his camera wasn't working, or there was a piece to his camera that was missing. So I was trying to scramble to help him. So I was trying to finagle with my webcam to get the webcam projected up on the screen, and then I was trying to plug my camera into the projector, but it was just a folly of errors, and it all worked out well in the end. But I think my video suffered a little bit because I was trying to help Bill get his presentation underway. But we can't watch the whole thing here because it's an hour and 15 minutes. But let's just take a quick look at it and see. First of all, I'm gonna label it once I'm here. That is the key. The key to editing is good organization. Okay. The funny thing is, I don't even know like what part to show you guys because I haven't seen this footage myself. I'll just start with the beginning. Obviously, we're not going to see everything. Let's see what we got.
All right, hello everybody. I'm Bill.
All right. So here's another thing. I need to make again. This is all editing stuff. What I have to do is basically my camera has 4 channels. Channel 1, channel 2, and then our XLR inputs. So that's where my microphones go. And then channels 3 and 4 are like an internal microphone that's built into the camera, and the sound quality on that is just terrible. It's gotten me out of some jams though, because like some sounds better than no sound. But when I just play the footage here in the preview window, it plays all 4 channels, and it's terrible quality. So I'm gonna make a new sequence, and I'm gonna turn off these channels and just leave Bill's channel, which is either gonna be channel 1 or channel 2. Let's see.
All right, hello everybody. I'm Bill Hurd.
Channel 1.
It's good to be back. Good to see you guys every year. For those that don't know me, I was a self-taught engineer back in the 70s and 80s. I taught myself analog design and learned about microprocessors. When I say I taught myself, I mean I taught myself well enough to get in the door. I haven't been to college or I'm actually a high school dropout. But then once you get in a good place, the learning continues, right? So I learned due to some really good, talented engineers beside me that taught me, you know, the odds and ends, how to tell if something's going to run too hot, how to tell, and I came from production, so I could tell them, well, guess what's failing out in production, you know? The capacitors have a vent hole and the cleaner's getting in it and screwing it up and stuff. So in the end, I ended up doing computers like the 128 and stuff for them, but before then I also did instrumentation, real high resolution analog to digital and stuff. So nowadays, excuse me, one of the things I'm doing is I do videos for Hackaday, and so we pulled it up here. My apologies, I didn't know what this venue would be like, and I had planned for this to be kind of a workshop where I thought we'd be in that other small green room, and we could all just gather around, and I actually would like to do that. They booked me for a double thing here today, but afterwards, if you all want to actually try your hand at doing some SMT rework or some through hole. I have a suction. If you've never done desoldering the automatic, I don't want to say the automatic way, but the mechanical way instead of manually using a solder pullet. I'd love to, I brought boards, we can all try it. So that's kind of what I envisioned was more of a hands-on thing here than when I walked.
Awesome. So yeah, Bill's presentation was amazing. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. Like I said, I can only stream probably until about 5 o'clock my time, which is in about 40 minutes left. So this is just a tease of, you know, what might be coming to the YouTube channel. I'll give this to Bill. I'm not sure if I'll put it up on my YouTube. Hopefully I'll put it up on my YouTube channel, but I'm also going to give it to Bill and Vintage Computer Federation for their YouTube channels. It was an awesome class. I know nothing about surface mount technology, and I learned a lot. You always learn a lot listening to Mr. Hurd. He's brilliant. Let's see if we can take a look at another part of the class. Let's see, we'll go to the end when people were actually working on it. Is probably the next clip. Again, this is all my raw footage, guys. Oh, here we go. Here's the workshop.
You got a big through hole?
No, I'm saying if you have one, yeah, haha.
Yeah, see, no, I was being serious. I thought you might have a board. That was part of it. This is a real small pad size. Let me see if I can find one more like what.
It was an awesome workshop. Like, he basically gave you all the basics of it in the lecture, and then there was a hands-on workshop where he had a bunch of dead boards, and he had people work on the dead boards, and he would give you like tips and tricks on how to work on them. It was just awesome.
That may not have been the best thing to do.
Again, the raw footage.
Flux. It's empty?
I learned about Flux. See, I didn't know. I thought Flux was just something
that's why I
from
actually used the refiller.
from
That's for
Back to the
refilling,
Future.
That's why I have a needle one at home.
But Flux is actually a cleaning material, essentially, that you use on the boards before you work on them. Again, to make sure they're clean. And I'm a complete noob when it comes to electronics and surface mount technology. So you learn something every day. Flux is a really important part of your kit when you start doing this stuff.
All right, jump on one. The trick is get it hot so you can feel it wobbling around first before you pull the trigger. I give it about a 5 count after it wiggles around. Anybody want to try the tweezers?
There's Anthony getting his hands
blow
in
the
there.
breaker.
Bumblebee use Flux every day. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Flux all day, every day.
Yeah. Right. Oh, okay.
Well, as you guys can see, it was an awesome class. Again, this is just raw footage, so I don't even know like where the good stuff is. But that gives you a taste. That was just a taste. This is our friend Ethan's class. He connected a Commodore PET to a 3D printer, which was incredible. It's a work in progress, so he got to talk to the printer, but actually didn't print anything at the demo. It was still like an amazing demo though. But this I can see is just a short clip where I was getting ready, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Here's the actual one. I'll call it Ethan 3D. Notice I use underscores because I'm so old school, right? But yeah, check. So where is it? Here's Ethan's setup. I'll you know what? Let's hear his intro at least.
By way of introduction, my name is Ethan Dix. I've been coming to VCF events for a number of years. I've presented at VCF Midwest, and this is not my first presentation here, but this is the first time I've actually been on the schedule. Evan often asks me to kind of fill in when folks can't make it. And so this all started because of a comment of his last year. He's like, wouldn't it be cool if you could do this thing? And this thing is basically, he knows that I'm into 3D printers. I teach 3D printing and electronics at the Columbus Idea Foundry in Columbus, Ohio. And I've had a 3D printer since some of the earliest days. This is a MakerBot Cupcake, sold in 2009. It's the first model from MakerBot, and back when they were an open source company and fun to deal with. And I put this thing together, printed a few things from it. As anybody who's ever seen one of these things work, or not work, knows they're a little cranky. So I picked it because it's sort of the easiest to tear apart. I've got the most spare parts for it, and so if I blow something up, I just go pull a spare out of the box and keep on going, as opposed to blowing up something that costs a bit more. So the idea is, the patents for 3D printing go back to the mid-'80s. So stereolithography is the resin printing where you take a laser and you take a liquid resin, and the energy from the laser solidifies the resin. You break your part up into layers and you draw one layer at a time, and when you're done, you've got a part. Fused filament modeling or fused deposition modeling is where you take cold plastic. Actually, I left my reel over here. You take cold plastic, run it through an extrusion device, and again, by drawing in layers, you sort of like a pen plotter. You draw one layer at a time, step up, draw another layer, and all the plastic sticks together, and you're left with a part. And again, early 80s for the development of the technologies, mid 80s for the patents, and sort of the question posed was, well, if these things weren't patented, could hobbyists have had the ability to basically take the ideas that were known in the 80s and implement a 3D printer with the hardware they had available to them in the 80s? And since I'm a Commodore aficionado, I made some attempts to try to do this from a PET, and a bunch of the talk is going to be about some of the limitations and some of the difficulties I encountered and other ways of handling it. And I'm going to give a little tour of how the hardware kind of works in detail, because it's all part and parcel. And I'm also going to make this a little interactive and ask a few questions. So first thing is, who in the audience has ever used a 3D printer themselves? So.
All right, I know it's super, super cool, guys, but I'm not going to show the whole thing. It's over an hour long. Ethan's a genius, and his project is super, super cool. But I'm going to give all these videos to the Vintage Computer Federation. They're up on YouTube, and anything that is like Commodore oriented, I'll probably put up on the Guru Meditation YouTube channel as well. So I'll probably end up putting this one on my YouTube channel too. But I'm definitely gonna give it to Vintage Computer Federation. I'm gonna give them everything. So I'll be posting links when the videos are finished. Amix312 is asking what video editing software do I prefer. Well, yeah, I'm not a professional editor, but I am a professional cinematographer, and I do I direct and I edit. I mean, I direct and I shoot, and I do edit quite a bunch, but I don't really edit. I don't edit for a living. I shoot for a living. But to answer your question, I use Adobe Premiere. There's a few reasons for it. I used to use Final Cut a lot. So I see you use Final Cut Pro 7. Final Cut Pro 7 is an excellent piece of software. It is probably the last great version of Final Cut, in my opinion. I know they have made lots of improvements to Final Cut Pro 10. However, when it first came out, it was in my opinion, it was a complete mess. So I switched over to Premiere, and there's the two main reasons why I switched to Premiere were I also do photography, so I need Photoshop, I need Lightroom. My wife makes books, so I need Adobe InDesign. So I'm just into the whole like Adobe Creative Suite. And it makes it simple. I do After Effects as well, so everything is just really well integrated. So that was like reason number one to switch over to Premiere. Reason number two is Premiere is like really good at ingesting footage from various cameras. So we're looking at like literally raw footage, like the MXF files right from my camera. If I had shot with a Red or an Alexa, it would just suck it in, no problem. Whereas Final Cut has to like transcode. Again, this might not be the case now. I haven't used Final Cut in a while. But when Final Cut 10 first came out, it had to like transcode all the footage to ProRes. And dude, I don't have time. I don't have time for transcoding, man. I just want to like get my footage and throw it into the editing software and get working. So, for me, Premiere is my favorite. But at the end of the day, like the software that you use to edit is really, it's just a tool. It really doesn't matter whether you use Final Cut or Premiere. The bottom line is you want to use the one that you're fastest with, because that's all that matters. Because like it's not like your video is gonna end up looking better if you use Premiere versus Final Cut versus Avid. The way your video is gonna look good is by you making intelligent editing decisions and making a video that is interesting to people. The editing software is just a tool. It's like a hammer, you know. So just use one that's like that you're comfortable with and is fast and works for you. If you like the interface on Final Cut better and you can work faster with that, then go for it, man. Like Final Cut was amazing. It changed the world. It literally changed the world, and I've got nothing but love for Final Cut. But right now, because I'm so into the Adobe Creative Cloud and this Premiere Pro can just ingest my footage so easily, it works for me, you know. So Ethan is an amazing genius. He's way smarter than I am. This presentation was amazing. Let's see what else we got here going on Friday. That's Evan talking about something. I think that's just a throwaway clip. I hit record, and Evan was getting ready. We're getting ready for. Yeah, this was amazing. Okay, so this clip I don't need. That was just some in-between footage. Goodbye. So this is the keynote. This is the keynote on Friday. These two guys from what was it called? What is the name of their? This fellow's name is Tom, and he and his son are Enigma experts, like geniuses. They, if you don't know what the Enigma machine is, it was a device that the Germans used during World War II to encode messages, and it was like this incredible encryption device that they felt, you know, could never be broken. There's an amazing film called The Imitation Game, all about this device, and a gentleman named Alan Turing was able to crack the code. But as we learned in this presentation, even though Alan Turing got all the credit in the movie The Imitation Game, it was actually a group of 3 Polish guys who were also heavily involved in the decoding, figuring out the Enigma code, and they helped Alan Turing immensely. And if it wasn't for them, Alan Turing probably wouldn't have been able to crack the code. So Tom gave this amazing presentation all about the Enigma, and watching his slideshow was basically like watching The Imitation Game except for real. And if you've ever seen The Imitation Game and you see the actual Enigma machines in the movie, they're Tom's machines. The movie producers went to Tom. Here it is. There's his Enigma machine in the film, The Imitation Game. He and his son are Enigma experts. They have collected, you know, more Enigma machines than anyone else in the world. They restore them. They literally like scuba dive in lakes and dig them out at the bottom of lakes. They are absolutely incredible guys. And this slideshow is incredible. Again, I'm gonna give this one to Vintage Computer Federation to put up on their YouTube. And here they are. There they are, like, you know, deep sea diving in these lakes to try and dig out the Enigma machines. It's absolutely incredible. They gave two talks. One was the slideshow all about the Enigma machine, and then Tom's son actually took apart an Enigma machine. So that was really cool. Let's go. I'll just call it Enigma 1. And this is, again, I spelled it wrong. You'll be seeing this on our YouTube channel. That was us. That's us loading in the rain. I'm not gonna show you guys everything today. We gotta save something for the YouTube. Oh man. We gotta save some surprises, some shenanigans. I'm not as good at editing when I'm on camera. Ragu man, here you go, dude. This is a time lapse of us setting up our booth. Now, in order for the time lapse to work really well, I have to speed it up in post. I shot one frame every 2 seconds, but this is us setting up the booth. Again, I'm gonna edit this all together and make a comprehensive video. That's the first part of the time lapse there. And this should be the second shot. There you go. Obviously, Ragu Man, when I cut it all together and make it nice, it will be a cool time lapse. There we are, taking care of business. Amix312, yes, this event is every year. It usually happens like in the beginning to mid-April at the InfoAge Science Center in Wall Township, New Jersey, and it is run by the Vintage Computer Federation. It is an amazing computer club in New Jersey, and they're based out of the InfoAge Science Center, and they have a permanent museum there. So even if you're not there for the festival, you can go check out some awesome vintage computers in the permanent museum. Amitin, what is up, dude? Welcome back. But there we go. That's us setting up. I'm gonna make the video all pretty. Don't you worry. Is that it for roll one? that covers roll 1. Nice. We're moving along here. Let's see what's on roll 2. Oh, here's Anthony. You know what? We'll watch. We'll give Anthony some screen time. This is Anthony. I'll just call it Anthony Calculators. And I'll call it Anthony Exhibitor. Business machines. All right, Anthony. Let's see what now you get to see us mess up all the time. But I think Anthony just knocked this one out of the park. Anthony was on point here. Let's learn about some Commodore business machines. He's all rugged. And how do you like his T-shirt, huh? Oh, Ragu Man, you saw yourself in there? Awesome. I'll find a few nugs of you in there. Don't worry. Let's just throw a LUT on him, so he doesn't look so flat. I'll have to do some more color correction, but that's fine. It's part of the game. Let's see what Anthony's got for us.
We ready?
All right, Anthony, what do we got here?
What do we got? So this is the Commodore Mega exhibit. You can't start an exhibit about Commodore without taking it back to the beginning. And in the beginning, Commodore made these typewriters. And so here we have a real old one from the 1960s. Actually, both of these are from the 60s. This is an early model. Doesn't have the Commodore name anywhere but on the back. And here, of course, we have the Commodore 2000. This was late 1960s. It's got a memory of 4,400 sheets. Fuck
no problem. Whoops. Sorry for the cusses. You can take it again, raw footage.
All right. So we have the Commodore.
So Anthony, where are we?
So here we have the Commodore Mega exhibit. To have a Mega exhibit on Commodore, you have to take it all the way back to the beginning. And in the beginning, Commodore made these typewriters. They bought a company in Germany that produced these. So this is an early model. It actually only has the Commodore name on the back, and it's only like a decal. Later, Commodore was actually putting their names on the front. This is Commodore 2000. This was late 1960s. It's got the memory of about 4,400 sheets per 30-inch file cabinet drawer. It's got a speed of 149 words per minute, if you can type that fast. And the video capabilities of this typewriter are about 3,000 to 4,000 characters per sheet. 8.5 by 11, of course. Later on, Commodore actually had the Chicken Lips logo. Those are the later typewriters. So then, after typewriters, Commodore came out with these. These were high technology of the day. These are adding machines. They are mechanical, but they are also electrical. And if we have a 2000 and we have a 3000, well, if I typed it right, which I didn't, but you'll have a 5000. Here we have one still in the bag. This is something an accountant would have basically taken to work at a company that they had to do the books for. Then later on, Commodore came out with these. And these are electronic calculators. This actually started the whole ball rolling. It's because of these calculators and because of Texas Instruments getting into a price war with Commodore that Commodore decided to buy Moss Technologies, the producer of the 6502, which gave them the chip to later create the computers.
All right, there you go. So, got raw footage on a live stream. It's dangerous, but I like to live dangerously. What happened? P. Cotter, oh man, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sure you had something cool to say. My bots can be real jerks sometimes, so I apologize. Ragu Man is asking, did they make open reel tape decks too, the kind from the original Mission Impossible TV show? I have one in my storage boxes. It says Commodore, but from Japan. But I never knew if it was really them. Very cool, Ragu Man. I don't know. I do not know the answer to your question. I know exactly what you're talking about. I have a dough quarter myself, a 1/4-inch open reel machine. It's actually my dad's, but you know, I call it mine, but it's actually my dad's. It's been in my family since I was a kid. It's a beautiful, gorgeous machine. You can actually see it in my Ami Party video on YouTube. I got a couple shots of it to simulate a Polish radio station. But to make the long story short, I don't know. It doesn't sound to me like it's a good question, and I don't have the answer to it. I don't know. I never heard of them making like open reel machines, but it's entirely possible they did. Yes, and this is Anthony in the raw. If you saw, like, people ask, like, you should make more videos, and I'm like, man, I'd love to, but it takes me so long to edit because we just mess up so much. Roar, going to bed. All right, Roar, I'm glad you learned today. I'm glad you had fun on the stream. It's always a pleasure having you, my friend, and thanks for stopping by. I'm hoping to stream maybe this weekend, and then I have a lot of work coming up, so my streams are going to be a little bit sparse over the next couple of weeks, but I'll stream when I can. Like next week, I'm going to be out of town all week, so no stream, unfortunately. So that's why I want to get one in today, even though I was doing my taxes. I needed a break, stream, go through some footage, hang out with you guys, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know, Amix. I do. You know, I'd love to travel the world to my Amiga friends, right? Well, there you go. There's some good info from Anthony. Let's see what else we got here. This is B-roll. So again, this is the way I make our videos. Is I shoot whoever's talking, giving their presentation, and then I get detailed shots of the machines of like what they're talking about. So as they're talking about it, I can just cut in to the detail shot, and I do all that obviously here in Premiere, and then when you see the final YouTube video, hopefully it looks all nice and it's easier to watch than just like one shot, locked off shot, you know. Sin Lao, you should see the outtakes that I have of Anthony and I. It's insane. So what do I call this? I call this Anthony Exhibit Tour Business Machines. I'm gonna call it. Copy that. And once I'm in here, guys, I'm working. I got work. We got people who are dying to see these videos, so I can't waste any time here. I gotta get work done too, you know. Be rolling. I could call it adding machines, but I don't know what else is on that clip. So let's see. We have the adding machines, calculator. See, yeah, use calculators too. So just B-roll is all I need. That's all I need to know, and I'll find the rest. What do we got going on here? This clip is only 17 seconds. So there's Evan. Evan is the gentleman who organizes the festival and is in charge of the Vintage Computer Federation. He's an amazing dude. He puts in, I can't even imagine how much time and effort he puts into it. Can't even imagine what it takes to put on a show like this. But this is just a little outtake, so I don't need that clip. Goodbye. Ragu, man, work. It's Miller time here. Awesome. Inverse face. Maybe you should stream later and drink a weird alcohol thing. Yeah, you should totally do that, dude. Oh, here we go. This is the keynote. This is the Saturday keynote with the gentleman who invented C++. It's amazing. Like, they really get A-list talent to come to this this festival. So let's see. So this is C++. Mr. Rob Clark was nice enough to drop the pronunciation of the gentleman's name into the chat before. I'm going to make a new sequence here, because I definitely need to give this footage to the VCF boys.
Plus basically runs the roll today.
Nice pieces of vintage equipment are just boat anchors if it doesn't actually...
Let's just hear his intro because it's awesome. Harleen, thank you for stopping by. It is always a pleasure to have you. I know it's getting late over in Europe. It's happy hour here in New York, so I'm just getting warmed up. I'm gonna call it quits soon myself. I have to get ready for another stream tonight. My wife is doing a cooking stream tonight. If you want to see her make some yummy food with me, some yummy, healthy, vegan food, she's going to stream on her Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Olenko's Kitchen. She does a stream every week. And yeah, so I'm going to have to wrap it up soon because she's going to want to stream soon as well. And I need to take a break and then get ready for her stream. But let's just watch the intro to this presentation because this keynote is awesome.
Dr. Strauss.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I looked around the exhibit hall yesterday and I felt slightly out of place because I'm going to talk about software. And so you have to remember that all of these nice pieces of vintage equipment are just boat anchors if it doesn't actually run some code. So I'm going to talk a little bit about code. And I'm going to talk mostly about the early decisions about C++. This is a history organization, so it's mostly history. Oh, is there something that isn't switched on?
Let me check it.
I see Ragu Man. I see Ragu Man fixing the mic.
Okay, that might help. Ooh. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the early days mostly. And if you want to read up on it, I wrote a book about C++'s early days some years ago, which you can get from Madison Wesley. And if you just want to go on the web, find my home pages, find the publication list, and there's 2 papers on history there from the History of Programming Languages conference. So basically, oops. We have a problem here. Anyway, so the way I judge a programming language is by what you can do with it. It's the value of the applications that really matter. And so I thought I'd start out with a few things about what we're doing. This is one of my favorites here. This is a marine diesel engine, actually the world's biggest marine diesel engine. And to give you a scale of this, look at the engineer at cylinder head number 5. So this is what keeps me going. There's all kinds of cool things being done with C++. There's a tunnel down under CERN where they found Higgs boson, Google server farm and such. And if anybody wants a language war, they won't get it with me, partly because I don't say rude things about C++ applications. And
all right, I think we'll stop the presentation there. It was amazing. He's an absolutely brilliant dude, and if you're into programming, this keynote was spectacular. Again, I'm going to give this footage to Ragu Man, who you saw come in the clutch there and save the day. Ragu Man saved the day twice. He fixed the mic and he fixed the screen. So Ragu Man saving the day again. Ragu Man, I'll give you guys all this footage for you to put up on the Vintage Computer Federation YouTube channel. Moving right along, let's see if we can get one more nug from our exhibit. Oh, there's the here's a little B-roll. There's my Amiga 500 3D printed case by Mr. Stephen Eddy. It's my Raspberry Pi 3 case. I was playing a video loop all weekend at our booth with vintage Commodore commercials and videos. It was awesome. It was a big hit. So let's label it, man. This is more booth B-roll. Our booth is looking good. Time Gal B-roll. Amiga CD32. All right, this is all booth B-roll. I'll come back and there's the 65. Okay, let's take a look at this really quick. So, what I was telling you guys before is that Anthony's computer doesn't have enough RAM to, sorry, I was reading the chat for a second. Anthony's computer doesn't have enough RAM to show all 256 colors. So watch what happens here. I'm just gonna mute the sound because I'm gonna mute the sound because it's just like ambient noise. Now the question is, how do I mute it? Let's see. Shure Digital Ultra Studio. Let's see. Morph OS, thank you for the follow, dude. We had some Morph OS running at our show. I wonder if that's why you made your name that, but awesome. Let's take, yeah, oh, Amyton, I will give you your plug in 1 second. I'm winding down the stream, and Amyton, I will be with you in 1 second. Oh, Morphos, sorry I missed your chat, Morphos. Speaking of Commodore 64K, I still have mine and it still works, and you have at least 20 games for it, besides the game bundle that came with it. Awesome, dude. Oh, Sanad, thank you for dropping the Facebook link in the chat. That's where I'm gonna go stream with my wife in about an hour. Actually, an hour and a half. It's gonna be 6:30. So if you wanna make some healthy food, come stop by. And Sanad, yeah, I can show you how to loop. I can show you how to do a video loop on a Raspberry Pi, no problem, dude. It's a piece of cake. And it works really well. There's like something like a I don't know, there's like almost an imperceptible gap between the loops. So it's pretty incredible. And it's so easy. Once you have your Pi set up to do it, all you do is drag and drop MP4 files onto a USB stick, plug it into the Pi, plug the power into the Pi, and boom, it's looping. It'll loop all day, every day, baby. Let's just take a quick peek at the 65 for a second. So there's the 65, and as you can see up there, I didn't fix the scan on the monitor yet, but you can see that's a pretty erotic picture. That's some demo that they sent out. I guess they really wanted to sell these things. But as you can see, Anthony's 65 wasn't displaying all the colors. It's almost like I see like red, I see black, and I see white. So his 65 can display more colors than that, but for some reason the way this demo looked, it clearly wasn't displaying all 256 colors. But the 65 looking sexy. Unfortunately, guys, I think I got to wrap it up soon. I have to go get ready for the other stream. My wife needs the webcam, and I need to take a break before the next stream. Yeah, 4 sexy colors, Sanad, you know it. But anyway, as you can see, I've got a ton of video to go through here. I wish I could show you guys like one other thing before we leave. Oh, let's take a look at this. This is one of the demos of the 65. It was drawing some vector graphics. It was like a vector graphics demo. So there's the 65 in action. Real-time rendering of the vector graphics. Not bad at all. You like that 65, huh, Johnny? The 2000. Oh, this is awesome. Our friend Alexander, he made this amazing Commodore belt buckle. Look at that. That's awesome. Yeah, there he is. Nice work, Alexander. You are a legend, dude. Amyton, what price does... Well, I'll tell you what. That Anthony's Commodore 65 will probably sell, if he chooses to sell it, for over 20,000 US dollars. Honestly, his will probably sell for more because his works. It works really well too. He just has to get some more RAM for it. I don't even know like what kind of RAM it takes or if he can get more RAM for it. But a working C65 goes for a pretty penny. I think even some non-working ones go for like the high teens. So yeah, that nod, right? Inverse. Alexander is awesome. We need to see a little Bill Hurd, right? I don't know what Bill's up to here, but let's see what he's up to. Again, this footage is raw. How long is this? Bill did a really nice piece for us about the 128 and the +4, which it's only 2 seconds, which I'll be putting up on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe to the Guru Meditation on YouTube. There's gonna be a whole bunch of VCF videos posted up there over the next, I'll even say like 2 months, because I have so many videos. Sinla, how many exist? We don't know exactly how many exist, but it's probably in the hundreds, like around 200, something like that, in the 200 range. And we don't know how many of those are actually working. Morph says, I remember Commodore had a tape player plug-in to play save graphics on the play screen. Cool. Let's see what Bill's doing here. I have a feeling this is just a quick clip. Let's see.
Story about the expansion mode?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get rid of that one. That was just me getting ready with the camera. What we got here? There's more Bill. More Bill. Oh, here's our friends Thierry and Jeremy with their exhibit. Man, I want to show you guys all the stuff, but unfortunately it's 5 o'clock, man. I got to run. I'm going to turn into a pumpkin. I think this is a good place to wrap it up, guys. I'm sorry to like leave you hanging. I want to show you guys everything, but I have hours of footage, and I need to go through it all and make it pretty and make everyone sound their best. Stay tuned to youtube.com/thegurumeditation for all these videos. I'm gonna be working on them, around the clock, basically. I might do another one of these streams where it's like a work in progress stream, so I can start showing you guys some more of the footage. But I will release like individual videos of our friends' booths, like Inverse Phase and Pete Fletcher's Battle Chess Tournament, and Thierry and Jeremy RetroGamer.ca's amazing exhibit about French and European home computers. Amix with 312, thank you for the kind words. Speaking of that, since Amiton, Amix are in the stream right now, Johnny, why don't you throw that link in there? There is a competition happening right now. Amiga News. There is a competition happening right now in the Amiga community I was unaware of until like today. Let's see where we got it. It is called the Ami Game Jam, and Amiton TV is a contestant in the contest. They have a game. Oh, I got to turn off my JavaScript blocker here. So Amiton has an entry here called The Last Starfighter. Our friend Johnny, he has a YouTube channel called Amiton TV. He streams Amiga stuff every Saturday night. He's an absolute legend. His dedication to Amiga community is unparalleled. And our friend Wayne Ashworth did some of the graphics for The Last Starfighter. I've played it on stream. It is absolutely amazing game. So it is part of this competition called the Ami Game Jam. And as I'm looking here, I see some of our other friends have some games in here as well. Max Knight is a game from another good friend of ours named Rogal. He's from Poland. Max Knight is also an amazing game. Bridge Strike, I don't believe I know the creators of Bridge Strike. I might have talked to them once or twice, but our really good friend Simone Bernacchia, he did the music to Bridge Strike. He also did the music for our YouTube channel opening. Easter Egg is a game I don't know, but I'm excited to play it. I don't know Santa Run, but I'm excited to play that one as well. Bruce Lee, not familiar with that game either, but I want to play that too. But it's so hard. It's like it's cool to have, I guess, a competition because it gives, when you work hard, you want to be rewarded for your hard work, and it's always nice to win and get some recognition. But I tell you what, like if you're making a new Amiga game in 2017, like you're a winner. Like I'm not into this whole like everyone gets a trophy thing, but yeah, like if you make a new video game for the Amiga in 2017, like you get a freaking trophy. So competitions are nice, but as far as I'm concerned, like all these guys are winners or gals, whoever made the games. Why don't you guys head over to this? Check out the URL. It's up here. It's itch.io/jam/AmiGameJam. You have 9 days and 15 hours left to vote for your favorite game. And Johnny from Amington TV is here with his entry called The Last Starfighter, which is awesome. I haven't played the Wayne Ashworth Special Edition yet, but I'm anxious to. Johnny, has that been released? I want to play the Wayne Ashworth Special Edition. Wayne Ashworth is an awesome artist and great friend of this stream and the show and myself. So it's cool, man. This is a really cool selection of games. Stig's World, thanks, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for hanging out. It's always a pleasure to have you. I want to show you more. But I gotta call tonight. But don't worry, fear not. You know where to find me on the YouTube channel. You should also, speaking of YouTube, you should also check out Stig's World on YouTube. He's a genius. He restores old computers much better at hardware than I am. He could probably teach a surface mount class with his eyes closed. So definitely check out youtube.com/StigsWorld. At least I think that's the link. If not, search for Stig's World on YouTube. His channel is awesome, and he is a super good dude as well. But then again, like, all the people I hang out with are super good dudes. So yeah, like this, I'm excited because now I got more stuff to play. I've got more stuff to play. I am very excited about this. So, as far as I'm concerned, all these guys are winners. But go ahead, go download these games, support all these guys. Again, Last Starfighter is from Johnny. He's a very talented game designer and all-around Amiga guru, as well as all these guys. This is super cool, guys. So yeah, if you want to participate in the Amiga Game Jam, go head over to this website and vote it up. Amington just sent me the Wayne Ashworth Special Edition to The Last Starfighter, so I'm feeling another stream coming on. I've got plenty of material for future streams. Hopefully I'll be able to stream soon. Like I said, I'm gonna be out of town all next week, so no streams for me next week. Maybe I'll do one over the weekend. We'll see. It's entirely possible. I'll try and do one this weekend, and if not, I will definitely do one the following weekend. I can see my green screen is falling apart behind me, which means it's time to go. Guys, thanks everyone for coming and hanging out today. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed my little VCF hangover day. I have tons of material to go through. I have tons of great stuff to bring you guys. So, definitely keep in touch on Twitch. Keep in touch on Facebook, AmigaBill on Facebook, or facebook.com/TheGuruMeditation. And I'm on Twitter. I'm at The Guru Meditate, and on YouTube, I am youtube.com/TheGuruMeditation with my buddy Anthony, who is a legend and the funny guy. Thank you guys all for hanging out today. You guys are awesome. Sanad, thank you so much. You are super cool. You are the super cool dude. Sleep well, everyone who's going to bed in Europe. Bottoms up to everyone here in New York. It's happy hour. I'm about to get happy. Sin Lao, thanks so much for stopping by. Pregnant Sausage, always a pleasure. Amix312, Viva Amiga is right. Is the best community in the world. I love hanging out with you guys, and and also just learning at the Vintage Computer Festival. It's like anyone who's into the retro stuff is pretty darn cool. So Amiga community is very special, and the other communities that I met at the show were also really comprised of amazing people who are put in lots of hours and dedication to their passion. So it's an absolute pleasure to hang out with you all. Rob, thank you so much for hanging out in the stream, and thank you so much for being part of our Commodorians team. It was really a pleasure to meet you and become friends with you. I will certainly let you know when I finish the edited video. I'm going to get to work on it as soon as my taxes are finished. Amington, always a pleasure, my friends. Great job with the game. Good luck in the competition. And like I said, all these guys are winners. Everyone who exhibited at Vintage Computer Festival is a winner. Inverse Phase, Pete Fletcher. I feel bad just starting to name people because everyone who was there was a winner. It was a great festival. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I'm gonna go grab some water and get ready for the next stream with the missus. Guys, take care. Have a great night, everyone, and Amiga forever.